this is Sinead here. I am here with the lovely Shahbaz. We are going today to be discussing so many things. Thank you so much for joining us again this week.
You're
How was your
most welcome. It was amazing. It was full of productivity. I loved it. Ready to rock and roll with some questions that you got. I'm pretty sure you got some amazing content coming.
Music? Okay, yes, I do. So last week we quickly touched on some things like phase one of designing your custom home. We also discussed workspaces and optimizing your workspace in a condo. Now,
Yes.
we put out a challenge for everyone to do their vision boards, and I did get a lot of pictures. So I am going to be posting all of the pictures and the home inspiration that I've received, and we will also be posting our dream homes for you guys.
Correct.
Okay, quickly to just jump right in, I have so many questions about additions versus extensions. Can you tell me the difference between an addition versus an extension?
Yeah, it's actually a really good question, and it's actually the most misunderstood element.
Yeah.
So addition would be in a very simplistic term. So say you have 1,000 square foot bungalow. Addition would be just adding 1,000 square foot right on top or less. But what you're doing is you're using the existing foundation, the existing footprint, and you're just doubling up. Extension would be keeping the footprint, but now what you're doing is you're adding to the footprint. So you're either going further back, left side, right side, whichever the city allows.
Yeah.
But extension would be to extend the property. Adding addition would be to add on to the property, just to simplify it.
Okay, got it. And so you definitely need a builder or you need a project manager to do these documentations, right? Because you can't do it on your own.
Yes, I always recommend that because when you're working with the design phase, they don't know what the construction cost is. So once you're working with a builder, maybe you like a certain type of design, but it's always good to know what the budgets are. So before you file for permits, you got to make sure that this falls into your budget and your estimated costs.
Okay. And so I have a lot of people telling me that they're going to go buy a house, they're handy around the house, they did plumbing in school, or their husband's a handyman and they want to buy that house and flip it on their own, so they're going to renovate it, keep it on the down low so that they don't need to get any permits. What advice do you have for those lovely, hardworking people?
No problem. So it's actually a really good question. Anytime somebody wants to renovate a home, it's actually recommended and it's highly rewarded because you'll learn a lot along the way. You'll save tons of money. And if you can get the whole family involved, there's some great family time with a little bit of frustration, but it's good. Now, the only part that the homeowners have to be careful is when they start to remove anything structural. So there's a big trend in removing support walls that are in the kitchen right now, because back in the day it was all closed concepts home. Every room had to be individual and protected with privacy. Now the concept is everybody wants to see the whole house within one view.
Yes.
So now what happens is support walls are coming down and permits are required and structural integrity is required, which means you need to be with a structural engineer.
Yeah.
So they can play around with renovations as long as everything is removed and reinstalled within the same location. Anytime you're adding, extending, moving support walls, I highly recommend going with city bylaws.
Yeah.
Because the main key point that I'll share with you is every time you do something with the permit, it actually saves you from the insurance cost that will come in later.
Yeah.
So God forbid you have a plumbing issue that happened, or water that got flooded in your basement, or something happened to the home, or the home burned down.
Yeah.
Insurance always looks for a way not to pay. And it's just, they are who they are, but it is their duty to look and investigate. If they find out that something was done without permits, they will not pay you a single dollar for the home.
Yeah, 100%. So not to instill the fear of God in you guys, but I have a lot of clients who will go at, anytime I'm selling a property, they'll go in to view and they'll say, now I'm going to knock out this wall. I'm going to break down the garage. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And that's all great. You should do it. I think it would be a great way to bring up value for your home. But if that's something you want to do, you probably should meet with a builder and see what you can do and what they can do. And
Absolutely.
I mean, from what I hear, Baz, you're not the type of guy to say you want to take over the whole project and you're not going to include the homeowner. Like, it's a very let's see how
open, flexible
mentality, right? So
correct. Yeah, there's some projects we have actually done that the homeowners, they really want to be handy. I have a client right now in Toronto who wants to get hands-on, and we totally recommended him, okay, this is the part that you could do, You don't require much experience. This is the second phase you could do. This is the third phase you could do. These are the things that we want you to be careful with. And he's running all of that. He's having a great time. And everything that's super complicated, we're taking care of everything, like all the drawings, all the permits, all the structural, all the cutouts for the new windows, everything like that we're taking care of. Everything that's like really simple, he's able to do hands-on, which sometimes we like, because sometimes we're building too many homes and we have large projects, so we can't just keep taking on too many jobs. So what we do is we go in, we do a little bit of work, and we get out, and then we let the homeowners finish. So it works out. It's a win-win.
And there are lots of things that you could do at home on your own too as a homeowner, but you need to speak to someone who is a professional in this industry, because what happens is if you go and you try to fix your own home, the problem is when I go in and my clients want to buy your home and you decide that you wanted to remove that whole wall in the kitchen, the inspector can come in and the inspector can say, well, damn, that brought down like 50, 60,000 off the value of the
Absolutely.
the house might fall apart. So, and that's real. Like there are inspectors who go above and beyond that really look at the structural foundation of the property. And so that will bring down the value of your home. You may think you're doing a good thing, but long term, it may not be good. So just at least tap in with a builder and get a consultation.
Absolutely. Well said. Honestly, that's the best thing, because you guys as real estate agents, you guys get to see the finished product, and before the homeowner buys, they always do a home inspection. So anything that's being done with a handy person, it's right there. It's listed. It's not like nobody will know. Everybody knows, because
there's no house that my clients will buy without doing an inspection, even a condo. And a lot of agents say, oh no, we don't want to do an inspection for a condo. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do to make sure your clients are looked out for. Now, I have another question for you. What are the most common types of additions in a home? Let's say an average single family detached home.
So beautiful. So the most common additions would be to add on living space. That goes mainly right now. What's happening a lot is, if you know, there's a lot of elderly people that are in our economy and in our society today. So what's happening is a lot of families, they're actually moving some of the family members to the second floor, and they're moving their parents into their home or so on, because not everybody wants to go into elderly care. So we're reconfiguring the main floor. We're putting a bedroom in the main floor and a bathroom in the main floor, like a full 3-piece bathroom. So the parents can actually utilize the main floor, because walking too many steps is not the best for their health. So that's what's happening, and we're changing the upstairs floor. Second most common is to add a bedroom and add a bathroom, which will be an addition. The one we're doing right now in Toronto, there's a house that had just a garage and then the 2-story home. So what we did was we took out the exterior wall and we extended the home all over on top of the garage.
Whoa.
Yes, which is a beautiful one. I'll send you images of that one. So we have it.
Send it so I can people like to see what you're doing. I posted the last house that you did, and that was like, wow, that was nice.
Yes, I'll send you this one. This one's fun. We're still in the construction phase. So I'll send you the construction, the hardcore construction right now, so people can see the intensity of construction that happens in an addition. And then I'll send you the 3D renderings of what the goal is to be achieved.
So let me get this clear, because last time I asked you, I want to build a custom home, but I don't want to spend 2 years doing it. And I posed the question, how do I cut this in half? That time in half. And you mentioned just this.
There was this one. Actually, since you asked me the question again, I have another idea too. There's one more thing that we can do, or you guys can do, which is there's a lot of people that have actually applied for the building permits. They have got approved on it for the construction to be done, and then they're selling the homes. So what happens is the homeowner now is skipping the whole stage of applying for the permit. They can literally acquire the property, because you as a real estate agent can find one and they'll say building permits ready for the new owner, blah blah blah.
Very popular in Parkland and Lakeshore.
And that way they can just skip 1 year right off the bat.
So in older areas, and not older areas, but like areas that are kind of building up a little bit, obviously everyone knows, like, I love Parkland and Lakeshore, that's where I live. And behind my home, behind the condos, there are actual houses. Now the houses are a little bit older, probably like hundreds of years old, and they're smaller, they're bungalows. So a lot of people, they're buying those homes and they're building them up to the modern, most beautiful homes. And they're actually doing exactly what you said, selling the permits, selling the design, selling the plans, and then they're getting company, you know, they're getting Real Construction Group or whoever to come in and do the actual building, and it cuts the process in half. Honestly,
it does. The only downfall of that is the value of the property gets appreciated quite a bit. So you are paying maybe 3-4 times what the actual process would cost, because that's where they're making the profit. But you know what? It's still a win-win because they're still saving you 1 year, and it still works out for everybody.
Yeah, you're right. So if you want to cut your time in half and you want the easy way out and you have some money to spend, then you can do it that way. But if I was going to think for the average family who, you know, annual incomes 120 to 180 a year, and they only have a single family home they live in right now and they want to customize it to their liking, it's going to be their forever home. I would personally recommend them go with you to work with a custom design for that home.
Correct. Yeah. And you can also do, sorry, go ahead.
So buying that plan, you're going to pay 20 to 40% more. And that's just for the permits. But if you're working with Baz, I mean, if you're working with a reputable builder, they already have the connections to get those permits in a timely manner.
Absolutely. Right away. Yeah,
and
which is actually right.
It's city dependent, right? But then it's also dependent on the relationship you've built with the builder. They've built relationships with the city as well.
Correct. Yep. And it's funny because the city keeps a record of all the people that do red flag things. So yeah, because city inspectors prefer good builders and people that go and they do not cut any corners. Yeah. And you actually, because the builders, remember, all the inspectors, they're all friends. So they speak with one another. So at lunchtime, they're discussing, hey, I met this builder who's done amazing. And then they're also discussing that the other type of builder, like, hey, man, I can't believe this one guy, he's doing this. So the word travels. So it's good to work with reputable people because at the end of the day, word of mouth, it goes around. It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, very quickly, what additions bring the most value for the home?
Adding valuable items. So adding a bedroom would add a little bit of value, but when you add one more bathroom, it increases the value tremendously, because bathrooms are the most commonly used rooms between all family members. You're going there morning, evenings, afternoons, whatever, depending on your usage. You're getting ready there, you're taking a shower. So creating an extra space where one family member is not waiting for the other and the schedules don't overlap, it becomes a really peaceful item to have at home.
If you have more than one person in your home,
Correct. And the other items that are really famous or popular are sunrooms. So a lot of people are building the sunrooms. That will fall into a little bit of extension, but they're not super expensive because you're not going 2 stories up and you're not doing such crazy foundation walls because it's just one small room. So doing sunrooms is a great thing, adding bathrooms, adding bedrooms, and adding any elements that are the more complicated rooms, such as kitchens. Extending the kitchen would be a great one to create an open concept. So things like that take the complex rooms, and because the most complex rooms are kitchens and bathrooms. The rest of them are very simple. They're just the same element repeated all over again. But if you can extend the kitchen, because today everybody's entertaining in the kitchen. So if you have a nice, beautiful entertainment in the kitchen, you're going to add tremendous amount of value. Adding a bathroom on the main floor, tremendous value.
So when you say a good entertainment kitchen, you're talking with a good island, one where people can move around freely.
Absolutely.
Kind of like a lounge vibe.
Absolutely, because today nobody sits in the living room anymore. Everybody just sits in the kitchen, and it's just there's so many things that are happening in the kitchen, and especially all the good food.
And when you're going over to someone's house, the first place you go is straight to the kitchen. So, Baz, I just have a couple more questions for you. What about crawl spaces? Because a lot of people put all their junk underneath the crawl space. So what do they do with that crawl space? What do you use to optimize space? Tell us.
So it's funny because crawl space is the place that everybody's scared to go, but all the laundry systems are there and everybody's storage is there. But everybody always wants to run in and run back out of that place because it's just scary. So the most
deeper down there too.
Yeah, it just feels creepy. It just is what it is. So what a lot of people do now is they're open to utilizing that space. So we offer a service called underpinning. Underpinning is basically supporting the whole home while we're actually taking the basement floor and we're digging down further to create the height that a regular standard 8-foot high ceiling. So most of the crawl spaces are 6 feet, 7 feet, but most of the human beings, they're around 5 feet to 6 feet or so, plus or minus. So it feels really tight and closed off. So underpinning is a great process. It's not the cheapest, but it drives tremendous value to your property. So,
that's interesting. I didn't know that. I'm going to have to look at that in terms of value, because everything that you've already told me with additions to extensions, I feel like if, you know, you can't afford to do a full custom home, but you want to modify your existing home to add value, adding an extension or an addition to your home will really change the whole look and feel.
Yep, absolutely. And most of the properties in Toronto, they have the crawl spaces. So if you're able to do an addition or an extension, whichever your property qualifies for, and then doing the underpinning, you get to maximize every single square foot in your home. And every single inch added and gained is valuable.
So what happens is the average home, the average family income in Toronto, let's say, is about 120 to 150. I would say that's like both parents or husband and wife or a couple working with their annual income combined. And let's say they have a child, one child or planning for another, then I mean, that doesn't leave them with a lot of cash flow. So for some people, the custom home is only a dream. But hearing that you can add an addition makes me feel hopeful for wanting to spruce up your home. You know, you don't want to change that neighborhood your child's going to school in.
Of
so
course.
You want to stay there, and I think this is a good extra.
It is. And honestly, if you are able to provide the addition and do the underpinning, there's construction financing that's always available.
Okay.
So say whatever your project is, the easy way to estimate is 35% of the cash you actually need, and 65% can also always be financed. So say if you have a $100,000 project, you actually just need $35,000 to play with. The rest is all financed.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
So you actually just need 35% of your equity. The rest can be financed once you are done building the home and the construction is done. You just go back to your actual bank, you refinance the home as is value at that moment, and you just bring it all into one single mortgage. And it's very easy to handle.
Yeah. Now, Baz, a lot of people have trouble deciding if they can afford this or not. I mean, even before putting the dream in their mind, they want to see if it's achievable, right? So I know that you have come up with a beautiful mantle and a beautiful project where it's a system for you to calculate how much someone can afford based on lot size or based on the place the home is located in the city. So can you just, in the most simplest of words, explain to us what that looks like?
Sure. So we've put together a system in order to help clients make the right decision, because my duty is to help somebody make the right decisions along the way, every single moment. So the more information that we can provide at the right time, the better decisions they make for the whole family. So what we did was we put together a system, because there was a lot of clients that were looking at properties. They don't know what they should do, how much their build would be, how much the property costs, how much down payment. And it's mind-boggling once you're doing this for the first time. So what our system does is I'm able to provide you 4 different types of construction projects that could be built. A starter home, which would be just a basic construction standard element. Then the upgraded would be the silver package, then the gold package, and then the premium, which is a luxury home.
Okay.
So we don't just provide one price. We always provide 4 different prices, because there's so many options, and we're not the type of builders that are just, no, this is the way we want to build, this is our style, because we understand we're just here to provide and service every single person with what they need. So our job is to give them all the right information, help them, recommend them, and then they can make the best decisions along the way, because that is what creates happiness and fulfillment.
And make people's dreams come true. Like, a lot of people have dreamed about a certain type of roof, and it's like you're making that happen. So we're so grateful for you guys. And right before we wrap, I just want to say shout out to the project that you have behind. If people are looking at this video, they can recognize the Monroe buildings. And so our very own Baz was part of that project. Yes.
And we actually work with the engineering firm. They're called Macintosh. So we ended up doing their whole boardroom and their actual office. So it's a massive company that they have. They have like hundreds of engineers working there. So we were able to actually go in. So this picture was gifted to me because when I walked in, I'm like, hey, why do you guys have a picture of Marilyn Monroe in your boardroom? They're like, hey, we designed it. I'm like, oh, and then I never knew that. So they're like, I was telling them, hey, I lived in this building. So when we finished, they were so happy. They're like, you know what, you could take one of the pictures and it's yours. So
Wow. So he is, this company, Real Construction Group, is part of a lot of hands-on big projects around the city, but they're even hands-on when it comes to your home design project.
Absolutely.
When it comes to figuring out if you can afford a custom home, or even if you want to just dibble and dabble with adding an addition, or you want Baz to come and do a consultation in your home to just see, you have an extra solarium that you may want to convert into a prayer room, or you're expecting another child and you don't know what to do because you have no more space. Baz is more than able to come in, as he's mentioned so many times, to do a consultation with his team and your family to figure out what kind of works and what makes sense financially for you. It's not a money grab. We're not here to steal your money. We're here to find solutions to make your dreams come true.
Absolutely. And we don't charge for the consultation. If it works for you, then we move forward. If it doesn't, we come back to it when you guys are ready. No big deal.
That is insane, because an average builder consultation just starts at $500.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
no, it's free of value.
What else are you asking for? So we're providing you some free value here, Baz. I'm just the vessel. Right before we go, we know you're fasting for Ramadan, so we wish you such a peaceful fast. Give us some tips on an abundant mindset, because you are super successful in your business and you're always positive. The audience loves you. So tell us some abundance mindset strategies that you would like everyone to adopt.
I'm so happy you asked me this question, because there's a book that I just started reading, and I swear to God, this is by far one of the greatest books I think I've came across. And in my room, I have about 150 books that I've read across. I'm a reader. This book is called Zero Limits. And it's by Dr. Hugh Len or something. He's an Hawaiian doctor from PhD. He was able to treat mental patients, people that were never allowed to walk again. They were like completely write-off cases, and he was able to help them get released, close down the whole sector, and he never saw a single soul in person.
I've heard of that. I've heard of him.
Yes. And I'm just reading that book, and what I found out was his principle goes down to, as long as you're thinking, you're using the brain. As long as you start allowing, you're using your heart. And whenever you get connected to the abundance and the divine purpose, you have to start allowing the manifestation to fall into your life. And there's a really famous quote that I always remember. I read this in a spiritual scripture. And it was written saying that human beings, because we plan so much, we leave no room for God's plan to fall into place. So sometimes it's good to just kind of know your intention, which way you're headed, do your very best, but allow the universe to bring you what you truly deserve. So abundance honestly starts with, number one, being appreciative of what you have, because there's always people that have more and there's always people that have less, and you could have been any one of them. So being appreciative, being thankful, and always asking for forgiveness, because every one of us is not perfect and we're just trying our best.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm on Amazon just looking at it. Joe Vitale, is that the person that wrote the book?
Yeah, I think so. I'll send you the name. It's the greatest book. It is the greatest book. I literally had to listen to that book. I paused it. I'll write down everything. Then I'll play it again, because I was listening to the audiobook, and I couldn't even just let that information go. I probably listened to the same chapter 3 times. It was that profound.
Wow. I've heard of it. I think that he's adapted something called Ho'oponopono.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
What is it?
Ho'oponopono. I think it's something like that.
Yeah. And it's like, thank you, I'm sorry, I love you.
And forgive me. Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And it's like a basic thing that's like in every religion's prayer.
Yep.
But that's so true. Yeah.
It's top notch. When he breaks it down in the first, second, and third chapter, the amount of knowledge that he shares, I woke up the next day and I swear to God, the whole world was different. once I understood that.
I'm about to go read that book right now. Actually, I'm gonna download it. I'm like addicted to reading now. So thank you for
it's top
that.
notch. You're welcome.
Okay,
You're most
and thank you
welcome.
everyone for tuning in, and we can't wait to see you next week. So next week we shall be talking about phase 2 of custom home building. Today we just did 1.0 on custom building, but next week what are we talking about, Baz?
So we can go more into detail of what type of properties are built out and how to build what type of property in which neighborhood. So we can get into that, helping people, okay, where to start, because most of the hardest questions is just, where do I begin? What's my first step? So say they like a property in a certain neighborhood, what do you do? So I'll help you with the step of how we study the properties, how we study the neighborhoods, what we do, what we recommend to our clients on a regular basis, and I'll just share all that knowledge with you guys.
Thank you so much, Baz, and I hope you have a great week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.